Today I received this book, Spiritual Influences of Ninjutsu, The Basis of the Shadow Tradition by Roley. This book is basically an introduction to the religions of Japan, how they came to Japan, all that kind of stuff, the major figures, the major deities, and how they interacted with each other. As most people know, I majored in religion and philosophy, so this is even beyond, your normal basic Eastern philosophy, Eastern religion class, excluding things like Hinduism, all that kind of stuff, even though it is technically related. Um, and, the Buddhist deities are taken from the Hindu deities, and then there's relationships between Shinto deities and Buddhist deities and all that kind of stuff, but it's not really worth going into that because India, we could say that yes, India had some kind of religious influence on what's being talked about here because of, the fact that that's where everything came from, and, that kind of stuff, but it's not really worth going into right now to discuss that. But basically, this starts off going over Shinto creation myths and how they are technically a way for certain parts of the government to have more control over other areas of Japan, things like that, which is something that you learn much later, if at all, in religious studies, because basically white people don't really care about Shinto. White people care about Christianity and Buddhism because they think it's cool, or what they think is Buddhism because they think it's cool. And, no Zoroastrianism, none of that stuff. Obviously some mythology because they think it's cool. But the kind of stuff that's gotten into here, not really too much stuff that most people will know, or they'll know it because they got a big tattoo on their back or something like that. But it's it's a small book, but it's very in-depth because obviously Don knows what the hell he's talking about. So just have your basic coverage of things that you'll find in Shinto temples, or I should say Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples, when I get that terminology correct there. They are different things. But anyway, basically, you'll see all the major players here. You'll see the connections. You'll see what you'll find in a Shinto shrine. You'll learn about the differences between a main shrine and a branch shrine, and what you'll find that makes them different. There's a little bit of information about the crossover, the history where the two interacted and where they were separated, and lots of information on Buddhism and the different sects of Buddhism. Not like it says here, everyone is obsessed with Zen. Everyone's like, oh, samurai Zen, samurai. No. Mikyo, Nichiren, all that kind of stuff. As Don says, you'll see a lot more Mikyo stuff connected to samurai, connected to ninja, than you will find Zen stuff, because Zen is like, Zen is, I'm a white guy, I want to sound cool, let me talk about the sound of one hand clapping, let me talk about a tree falling in the woods, let me talk about koans because I want to sound like I'm a professional smartass, which is actually what I am, but as opposed to people who are wanting to empower themselves, wanting to learn, wanting to kill people. That's their job. It's awesome though, because when you actually study all the kind of stuff that's in here, all the Buddhism, all the ideas, the various sects, and then you can apply them actually. If you look at other religions, how certain ones, certain Buddhism in Japan is made for lazy asses who want to just, do one thing, say a chant a certain number of times, and automatically get bumped up to heaven. You'll find the exact same parallels in Western religions. You'll find it in Christianity. You'll find it in Islam. You'll find it all over the place. So, interesting. A main thing is, he goes through all the main characters, Fudomyo, the 12 generals, the significance of numbers, actually. The number 12 is very significant because of its connection to Buddhism, its connection to Hinduism, its connection to everything, basically. So yeah, it's always good. The one thing that he didn't talk about here, though, these are actually, like Kubira, Basara, Mekira, all that kind of stuff. These are actually Hindu gods that were brought over. He gives the Japanese names, but once again, I'm not really talking about Hinduism. I'm talking about Japan, talking about Buddhism, and the crossover here, Shugendo. Does a good section on Shugendo here. Explains a lot. And talks about Endo Goja, who was not a ninja despite what everyone will tell you. He's not a ninja. That kind of crap. And then the part that everyone wants to get into over here, Kuji, if you can even see. Big discussion right here about mudra and mantra. All that kind of stuff. Everyone's favorite, Rimkyo Tosha Gaijin Art Saizen. That kind of stuff. Yeah, of course, how to do it, all this. All that kind of, there's rule over here, let me move my fingers around, do this thing, all that kind of stuff. The basics, though. Not the, I gave my girlfriend a book on it, actually. The 1,000 damn mudra that are out there. I would like it, though, if Don actually talked about the other stuff when you go past this and the stuff that we do, because it is connected to martial arts. We have Kotodama, even though I make videos over and over again where I say words don't have magical powers, but we do have Kotodama in the Bujinkan. Do I believe they magically work? No, of course not. And we do have the other stuff when we can do Tenraku, Show, all that kind of stuff. But Don doesn't go into it in this book, but, really, why should he? Learn it. Go to Japan and learn it yourself. He doesn't, need to be putting it in a book over here. But, yeah, so he does actually have some good stuff in here, about the Kuki family, but I'm not going to go into that. Just buy the book and see it yourself. And then we all know these things from the Bansen Shukai, the spells. I think they're also in Ito Gengetsu's book. They're in some book I have that's from 1917. It probably is Ito Gengetsu's book. Or it might be Ninjutsu Kiaijitsu. Either way. Yeah. Basically, the point is buy the damn book because it's worth getting. If you know nothing about Japanese religions, buy the book. If you know everything about Japanese religions, buy the book. If you're a Bujinkan student, buy the book. If you're not a Bujinkan student and you're not Chris Jacobson, buy the book. If you are Chris Jacobson, I wish Don makes an edition of this book where everything is backwards and you can copy it word for word. But, yeah. It's like Don says, this is not a how-to manual. It does have, your little explanation on how to do Kuji, but this is a book for people who want to learn, or who need to learn, and that's everyone. Everyone should learn, everyone should want to learn, and everyone has to learn this connection to the martial art that you're studying, because they're basically, even though they are capable of being separated, they shouldn't be. They should be inseparable in Japan. Everything is connected. If you go even deeper than this book, if you have actual training, then you know the significance of the two things. But that's about it. I'm not going to ramble anymore about this book. Just buy it. Spiritual Influences of Ninjutsu, the Basis of the Shadow Tradition. Don Roley. Buy it. Links down below. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. The end.